I do have a problem if you're brandishing a weapon at somebody and then you brandish it again and you fire into a vehicle. Is that not true? Is that not what happened? All right. If it's not what happened, just tell me.
Welcome to the Court of Justice.
Is calling 2024 CR 6690 State versus Jason Bustos. Could I have parties approach and announce for the record for the state? Move down to the other end. All right. And are you Jason Giovanni Bustos?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You entered a plea on January 13th to count one guilty. The state waived count two without objection. You applied for deferred adjudication. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 6 years in the prison. There's a $2,000 fine. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. The state opposes your application for deferred adjudication, and there's to be restitution and no contact to the complainant. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report
We have, Judge.
and the TAP evaluation?
We have.
Any objections?
No objections, no corrections or addition.
Any objections from the state?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Any witnesses, state?
No,
Defense
no,
witnesses?
No, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and my client, just very briefly.
All right. Could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Hey.
All right. You can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Jason Giovanni Bustos.
All right. Defense?
Jason, you admitted when you were here, and you admitted to probation that you shot your gun at this other person, correct?
Yes.
And this had to do with on a road, you and another vehicle were playing jockey back and forth, correct?
Yes.
And I want to make sure the judge, the other vehicle was a F-150 Ford pickup.
Yes.
And you had a 95 Ford Ranger, correct?
Yes.
4-speed.
Yes.
And you felt threatened by, is that what you assumed, where you felt threatened by the actions of the other driver?
Yes.
You know now, when you carry guns, things like this can happen. You can overreact. You understand that that's not very smart. Right?
Yeah.
That's not a smart thing. You overreacted.
Yes.
Have you learned a lesson?
I did.
You think that you could be successful on probation?
Yes.
A lot of reporting, drug testing, fines to pay, community service, maybe some gun safety classes. Think you can be successful in that?
Yes.
You have a drug problem?
I do not.
Pass a witness.
All right. Any questions?
Mr. Bustos, so, you stated that you felt threatened by the other drivers on correct?
Yes.
But the encounter that you had with them, it wasn't a short encounter, right? It went on for several miles, correct?
Yes.
And so at any time during that period where you guys are going back and forth with each other, did you ever think to call 911 and to report that you were going to drive the behavior of this other individual?
I did not have a phone at the time.
Okay.
Person.
And so, there were multiple streets where you could turn off or just went into a business and parked. Did you do any of that?
No, there was heavy traffic during the whole entire incident.
Okay.
My first thought would be going towards the HEV that was right across from the highway, and I couldn't make it across due to just traffic flowing through.
Okay. And so there was heavy traffic in the area for traffic. So the way that you can reconcile this is to fire a firearm twice. That was your reaction, right?
That was after when I got away from the heavy traffic.
Okay. So why didn't you choose to get away from the other vehicle if you felt threatened by that?
I did try to get away from the vehicle.
But then you had still followed them and shot.
I didn't follow them.
You did not follow them?
No, I was being followed the whole entire time.
Okay. But in the stipulated evidence, it says that the other Ford was taking the turnaround, right, when you fired into the vehicle, correct?
No.
So, okay, talk about that.
When I took the turnaround, there was an HEV. The entrance to that HEV was very close to the turnaround. So instead of proceeding, I decided to go straight. When I went straight to the first light, I decided to go on a right-hand turn lane, and I noticed that the truck was still following me. Once I noticed that, and I checked my rearview mirror, he was already trying to try to jump over the curb to get to where I was headed towards, and I was trying to avoid just confrontation from him. So instead, I proceeded to go straight. When I got off the right-hand turn lane, I went straight when the light turned green to the other light, and I didn't even make it halfway until I almost got into an accident just from trying to drive away. My truck stalled, and that's when I noticed the driver was still proceeding and started tailgating, driving recklessly, maneuvering through cars through the traffic that I left behind. So from there, he caught up to me, and that's when I got scared and overreacted.
Okay. And so I want you to help me understand this, because in your interview that you gave with Detective Grant, it says that you stated that during some of the swerving that you catched up to the other Ford, and that's when the truck slowed down and tried to cut you off. And then
That was in the highway.
that's when you exited and took a turnaround, and then that's when you shot into the other truck. So on the highway, if you had an opportunity to catch up to him, why didn't you just go somewhere else? Did you think that your response was reasonable to shoot in his vehicle?
No, it wasn't.
Let me follow up. I'm well familiar with the location. I live out there. When you exited at the Leon Springs exit,
Yes.
Bernie Stage Road. When you exited there to do the turnaround, it's up a ways and there's no place to turn off. It's a service road. It's very heavily trafficked. When you make the turnaround, there's an HEB on the right-hand side, but there's like 3 lanes there when you do the turnaround. You had there were 2 or 3 lanes to be able to pull into HEB.
Yeah.
Correct. There's too much traffic. As always is like service rate. Correct. So you continue straight. Is that correct? And your truck is a Ford Ranger, a 4-cylinder.
Yes.
When they're talking about catching up with the individual she brought up, did you accelerate to try to catch that?
Not accelerated.
What did you mean by trying to catch up? Or catching up with it?
What happened was, as we were driving forward
On 10.
He left it alone. I left it alone. I didn't do anything about it. There's no reason for me to catch up. I can't even catch up.
No, yeah, I understand.
I do not against with the truck that has 8 cylinders against a Ford 4-cylinder truck. Anyway, I noticed from about a quarter mile, he's already tailgating another vehicle, but then again he starts to pull back dramatically.
Okay. What do you mean by you caught up with him? What do you mean?
I mean,
were you trying to catch up with him?
I wasn't trying to.
The flow of traffic, you ended up getting ahead of him.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, so
Judge, I may just say this one thing,
yes.
if I may.
Well, just one second, because I want something cleared up for me. In the report, I'm reading the synopsis, and this is what the synopsis says in the stipulations. It says that the complainant was in his personally owned vehicle. The suspect was in his vehicle, and the suspect began to brake check him on the interstate. I understand brake checking people because sometimes people are riding your bumper. I understand that. I think it's crazy to do that, but I understand why people brake check, say, hey, quit riding my bumper. So that's not the problem for the court, that you were brake checking him. It says that the complainant decided to pass you and continue on his way. So what the synopsis so far is saying is that you were brake checking him, I guess, because he was riding his bumper. And then the complainant decides, you know what, I'm just going to pass this guy. So it says that he passes you, then you caught up to him, pulled up next to him, didn't fire your weapon, but exhibited your weapon to him, and then got in front of the complainant and started brake checking him again. That's where I have a problem. I can understand you're driving. Maybe the speed limit is 60. Sometimes people will be in what's called the fast lane on the freeway, and they're going below the speed limit, which is a no-no. But let's say the speed limit is 60, you're going 50 or 55, who cares? You're going less than whatever. Or maybe this person is speeding behind you. So they're behind you, they're riding your bumper, which people do, which they shouldn't do, because that doesn't give you time to stop if you need to stop immediately. So this person says, you start brake checking them. So I'm sure tempers are high. His temper is high. I know the complainant was probably upset, probably said a few choice words. And then the complainant gets from behind you because you're brake checking him and speeds past you. Maybe he gestured towards you or whatever, but he doesn't pull a weapon. So he speeds past you. That should have been the end of it. Maybe you get on the phone. You say you didn't have your phone, but maybe you memorize his license plate and call the police and say this person is recklessly driving. But he says what happens is you don't do that. After you brake check him and he decides to pass you, you then catch up to him and exhibit your weapon. That's a no-no right there. And then it says, then the complainant, instead of him just calling the police after you pulled your weapon at him, he pulls out his phone to start videotaping you. And then what he does, after you pulled out your gun and exhibited at him, he starts filming you on his phone. And then he starts chasing after you in his vehicle to film you. And it says he continues to follow you. And then they both took the turnaround at Bernie Stage Road and went on the access road. And it says that the complainant then continued to record you. And then you both got off at the 20,000 block of Interstate Highway 10. And then you came to abrupt stop as the complainant passed you on the left. And then when he passed you on the left, it says you started firing with your automatic handgun. And it says that the complainant was still filming on his cell phone when this occurred. So is somebody saying those are not the facts? Because that's what I'm reading.
The last part, Your Honor, from what I can remember, is he did not pass me up. He just stopped after I stopped.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped just to make sure he can continue going.
So did you brandish your weapon more than once? Did you brandish your weapon at him first and then brandished it later throughout this incident and then shoot it?
I brandished it once.
And when you brandished it, you fired it?
Only on the second time.
Okay, so then you brandished it more than one time. What the synopsis is saying, and don't feel that you have to agree with me, I'm just saying what's in the synopsis. What the synopsis is saying is you brake checked him. And then after you brake checked him, he went around you and passed you. You brandished a weapon. You didn't fire it. He gets upset that you're brandishing a weapon. So then he starts following you and filming you. And then you all meet up and you fire bullets into his vehicle. So is that not true? Is that not what happened?
Yes, Your Honor, that is what happened.
All right. If it's not what happened, just tell me. I'm here trying to figure out what the appropriate sentence is. But I do have a problem if you're brandishing a weapon at somebody, right? And then later you brandished it again. There's a gap in time for tempers to cool. And then you brandished it again and you fire into a vehicle. Did you know how many people were in that vehicle? What if there were children in that vehicle? In their you know, in their car seats, because you really can't see when babies are in car seats. People could have been killed. And then if you would have been a good shot and you would have killed him, maybe he would have crashed in other vehicles and somebody else would be dead. So you wanted to say something, counsel, or is there any other questions for him?
No, just something, an argument.
Sure.
Two things. One is 95 Ford Ranger. My wife, although she drives a new car, has a 96 Ford Ranger, 6-cylinder. She uses for hauling plants, shrubbery, rocks, dirt. Ford Ranger does not have a lot of pickup. Well, it has a limited speed it will go. An F-150, it doesn't have a lot of acceleration. An F-150 has got a lot of acceleration. So we've got a small car and a large car. I don't know what happened, but I'm saying there's a difference there. And the 150 ought not be picking on the smaller guy, if in fact that was what he was doing. Second off is, there's questions about why don't you call the police. I don't want my wife going down H10 and getting off on the service road going at 50 and 60 miles an hour, getting on a cell phone and making a phone call.
Oh, well, what I can tell you, counsel, the whole thing about calling the police, that's not the big issue for the court.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, okay.
And I think he understands what he made a mistake. Also, I think he's had some mental health issues. He took medicine. They got him back on medicines in the jail. He has no prior criminal record. He had a job. He was productive before this happened. There's nothing in the record that says this would be a reoccurring type thing that I can see. Once he's learned a lesson, give him a chance on probation. I'm asking the court to give him a chance on probation.
All right, state.
Maybe even have some mental health treatment if the court thinks that's needed.
Judge, we're asking that you deny this application to be sentenced to years in prison. When we define, I think, the defendant had it, even at the beginning, he denied having a real issue, but the evidence that was stipulated to is problematic. That's every driver's worst nightmare, to be fired upon while they're just driving down the highway. And my point about bringing up whether he called 911 or not was that he had a sufficient time to cool down or pull over and retreat, and he did not. He decided to engage and brandish his weapon one time and then fire it twice into that truck. And, we'd lucky that he didn't have veteran because he would be here for a different charge if that were the case. And so for those reasons, we're asking that.
All right. Is there any objection to the restitution of $250 to the complainant for that's his deductible?
No, Your Honor.